Well, thank you very much. Well, I was very happy to talk about these topics because I actually work with these tools on a daily basis. And my mission today is the following. I want you to see what these tools can do for you, and I've summarized it saying why are they relevant and for whom are these tools relevant. Then, when preparing, I had an idea which I no longer like that much now. I thought I am going to show you in 3 minutes what Canva and Adobe Express can do, and now I'm here. Well, but first of all, over to you. I've prepared a little game for you, and you can vote what I should design. And then I will start the timer, and then you can see how fast I am. Maybe I can finish it all, but we'll see. I'll briefly open this. You can the QR code. There are three questions, and you decide which marketing task we should perform with either Canva or Adobe Expert. If the QR code doesn't work for you, you can also go to menti.com, and then enter the link. Yes, you're already voting. The first question refers to the content. What are we communicating? Which content should we communicate? I think we can agree. A new webinar, how you can actually set up our software in a few minutes. That's a close win. Next question. Which channel should we actually use this for? Oh, doesn't work? Hmm. Well, again, well, if not, just give me a show of hand. Okay. Who is in favor of blue portrait format social media? Does it work? No, I only see a few hands. Who is in favor of a social media post as an image? A few more. In favor of an infographic? Yes, many. And who's in favor of a advertising banner? So infographic. Now you just have to give me the design element, a font or a motive ranging from a rubber duck to whatever, uh, anything you want to see. Yeah, I didn't understand you. A comic sans, the font, comic sans. Oh, any other suggestions? Excuse me? Winnings. I don't know what this is. Oh, the font, of course, yes. So let's agree on Comic Sans, and I'll change the prompt. We have a new webinar, and we want to communicate in comic style and we start the timer for this experiment. I start in Canva because I know that Canva is pretty good at infographics, and Canva gives me lots of templates here that I can use. I think I like this one. This is in comic style, so let's go for this one. I hope it's big enough for you to read. Then I rewrite it, our new webinar, and enlarge it slightly. I do not know whether Canva allows Comic Sans as a font. Yes, in fact, it does. Great. So let's go for this. And then we replace our graphics here by something comic like. Let's see. Well, I like this one already. Let's go for this one. I still have to start the monitor view. Sorry, I promised the video team to film this and I did not start the video. So there we go. Okay, the timer is on. And let's go for an OMG. That's cool. And we place it here. And I copied it. Voila. Then we drop a laptop here. Don't know whether we have something. Well, let's take this nerd here. And we will look at the content at another occasion. I realized that the infographic is too long and I can change the length. I can shorten it to an A4 document and I select it here. And Canva then asks me whether I want to redesign it or just copy and resize it. I replace this. Then I place these parts, the components, and I'm running out of time already. I'm the mouse person, as you can probably see. And let's delete this. And this is deleted, and we will enlarge this a little, and the time is up. Now we've omitted the infographic part, and I briefly want to show it to you. And I jump into charts, and let's see. Let's lose this one. Total 10, 9 out of 10 would recommend this webinar. Well, in 3 minutes, we've tried to come up with something. So much by way of example. I hope it showed you what you can do in Canva. And Canva is actually says they have 180 million users worldwide. It works in the browser, as you saw. It is used by professionals, but there are also many private users. Many among them will know Adobe Express. I guess that some of you will, yes, some of you have used it. I have to admit that the user number is not precise and it's not an official number either. Adobe once published that 43 million students and lecturers would use Adobe Express. We know it's more than 43 million. But it's also important to know that Adobe Express is part of Creative Cloud, so all Creative Cloud users could use Adobe Express. Not 100%, of course, but a major part of them. And now the question is, of course, why are these tools so successful and why are they so widespread? Well, I want to take you along and show you some features that I think are pretty unique when you compare them with classical professional tools. The first is the easy entry. This is a video of Adobe Express. I can start with the templates. This is what you saw for Canva before. And you have a very simple low entry threshold. You can adapt fonts, a little example here. And of course, you can adapt the content. Then you can brand or adjust brands, manage brands. It's pretty similar. So the entry barrier is low, even if you are not familiar with such design software tools. These tools are easily usable on mobile apps. Just yesterday, part of my presentation was updated and I did it on my mobile phone. This can be done with both Adobe Express and Canva. And most really most of the functionalities are also available on the mobile terminal devices. It's also relevant that these two systems work browser first, so I'm not downloading a system. I could do so. At Canva, I know there is a desktop version, but this cannot really do more than the browser version, and it cannot work offline. So this is really a browser and web-based functionality. Then the tools are very versatile, and this is particularly important for Canva. And I brought along an example. I'm starting here in Canva Docs. This is something like Word for Canva, and I'm changing the medium with the same content, and I'm showing what I'm at. So this is a new quote, a new sales offer, and then I say convert to presentation. And then I get templates that Canva directly draws up on the fly, so to speak. And I can say, well, I change over to the presentation mode, and then I have the same content, slightly shortened, abbreviated, which I had in Docs. And from the presentation, I can actually make an Insta post, which is what I'm doing here. I have adapted it to a more fitting size. I can redesign things. And this is at 1.5 speed, but it's pretty fast nevertheless. So I changed the font, for instance. And what these tools also offer is basic animations that are pretty popular in the digital realm. So the versatility makes especially an impact with Canva. Adobe Express also has cool features such as the quick action. I don't know how often you come across this. I have a JPEG and I need an ENG, and then I have a video and I need to transform it into a GIF. And Adobe Express offers these features. I can also upload video and process it. So it is very versatile in terms of the image formats and the data types that you come across in your daily work. Then collaboration is a key topic. The cooperation with other people is pretty easy. This is the same for Canva and Adobe Express. You can comment jointly, work on shared designs. This is pretty relevant, and it is far more progressed than we know from InDesign or similar tools. Then, of course, some current features I would like to show you. I am not talking so much about the differences between the two tools, nor will I say which one is better, because I can't answer this question. I think both have cool features. One example at the very top, this is Adobe Express. There is a Firefly functionality. This is AI, where lettering can be generated. You can see this here. So I have AI text effects, producer lettering that looks like golden air balloons. Then a functionality that I often use for social media videos: when you have background music, the cuts in the video can be synchronized with beats so that everything is consistent. Then back to Adobe Express has a content planner which you can use for social media. I make a design and then actually time and post it on various channels. Adobe Express is more advanced if you're interested in this feature. So I just in Canva, you can only post a design once. Once I want to have one design in two channels, like an Instagram or whatever, then I have to create two of these designs. This is easier in Adobe Express. And these tools, of course, have other AI functions. I can edit images. Here I've just replaced an element. You can do this with images in both Adobe Express and in Canva. You can generate new images. You can extend images. I think this is congruent between the two tools. And nevertheless, I think they are important functionalities because they facilitate your everyday work. You have a situation that's a portrait photograph, but you wanted to do a pose with a landscape image, and then this usually doesn't work. This is a fantastic functionality in both systems and a relevant one. A very important functionality, and this is integration. Canva, at the latest keynote 2 or 3 months ago, they opened the marketplace so every company can actually submit apps for Canva. More information can be found under this link. Adobe Express has opened this quite a while ago, so own apps can be programmed for Adobe Express and then can be integrated. At Canva, it's above all AI functionalities, text to speech, for instance. It is video functionalities where I can animate things, or classical integrations when I have an image database and I want to retrieve images from there. I can also do it with the Canva app. At Adobe Express, there's a very prominent example for today. The print suite will soon be able to integrate in Adobe Express. So directly from my PIM, I can take data and embed them in Adobe Express. Buzzword integration. Let me mention that especially with Adobe Express, the integration in the Creative Cloud is very relevant. In Photoshop and Illustrator files, I can actually place elements in Adobe Express. This is the left option where it is linked. On the right option is to upload a Photoshop file, and that can be processed in Process. This is a new functionality. I tested it. I have to admit, it didn't always work smoothly for me. It was not always possible to convert the Photoshop files, but when you design easy flyers, very easy designs, then it is easy to do. And I think this is also a great integration in workflows to authorize people who are not familiar with Photoshop, or who don't like Photoshop, or have not installed Photoshop on their PC. So Adobe Express can help out. And I've brought a little example here. This was an easy design, so it was easily transformed from Photoshop to Adobe Express. It worked at the end of the day with many examples, but for me it has not always worked smoothly. And now I've bombarded you with a host of functionalities, but in conclusion, you can say that Canva and Adobe Express are right for our times. They are fast, they're intuitive, you can integrate them in PIMs, in other processes that you have, in existing design tools. In the case of Adobe Express. One word on Canva. A few months ago, Canva bought Affinity Suite. I don't know whether you know it. Some of you do. Affinity is InDesign, Illustrator, and Photoshop competitor. And Canva bought them up, and we will see more integrations there in future. So it's getting better and better. We work fast, we're current, and this is why I would say that these tools are a perfect fit for our day and age. You may wonder now, who's the right target group for these tools? Who should use it? Well, what I hear the most is, well, I can do Photoshop, I don't need Express. I know InDesign, I don't need Canva. Well, let me answer. This is not the same use case. InDesign, Photoshop, and Illustrator, I would not actually compare it with Canva and Express, because the question is who uses it and how fast do I have to be? I would say the right target group is knowledge workers. I also include a definition. This is people who mainly work with knowledge, information, and data. It's about expert knowledge, problem solving, and decision making. And these guys have to communicate their ideas well. And good communication has to do with good visuals. Knowledge workers are idea mediators. And this is why I would not like to limit the discussion to DIY versus professional tools. No, it is about about communicating ideas as fast as possible. The knowledge worker, most of you will be knowledge workers, know exactly which content is interesting, which content is helpful, which is suitable for our target group, because they're often the target group themselves. And this is the prerequisite I need. And this is what I omitted in my 3-minute presentation, the content. So if you need little time for design, then I can focus on my content. And this is really key with these tools. So I know where my target group is. I speak their language. I can actually communicate selectively and design in the right channel, right in keeping with the target group. If we outsource it and say, well, somebody, a third party, a design agency designs it, they do not know the slang of the target group. How fast do they need it? They don't know where these people are. They somehow have to learn all of this. But we, knowledge workers, already know all of this. And this is when I design presentations, I always design them myself, and I do it either in Canva or in Adobe Express because I'm simply faster. I believe it makes sense when these people can design themselves because they know who needs what and when. Then it is so fast, incredibly fast, as I showed you. In our daily practice at Morntag, the agency I work at, we use Canvas intensively. We're very fast in generating marketing content, and this leaves us time for other things. This high speed means that we want to be done faster with the marketing content, but the other focus is that we can also react fast. So if we realize, oh, that's an idea, and I produce a post, I'm so mega fast. And the aim as such is not just being fast, but fast reaction to things that are happening on social media, content that I want to publish. And the faster and the easier this is, the more often you do it. I can see it in my daily life when I'm on LinkedIn, for instance, when I'm doing my videos on YouTube and publish them. I think, well, it takes 3 or 4 more minutes for an infographic, and then I can actually promote my video. And this is what I would do. So this high speed is less about reducing the workload and saying I have less to do. No, it's more about making it easier because it's so fast. And apart from that, it's pretty cool. And let me show you something. In Canva, there are elements, and these elements can be submitted. Of course, I can submit photographs, but I took these elements like the nerd, this gentleman with the laptop, and these elements can be submitted by people. If you paint something or design something as your hobby, you can submit these elements, and then you get a share of the income when somebody uses these elements. This is a model that nobody else uses because Adobe Express has a huge stock database. But these elements make it even faster and more or smarter to design. To make it look good, you need a consistent idea. This is why I have my brand management, this branding in Adobe Express. Here we have our publishing blog, and I can agree on colors, save logos. I can actually save fonts if they're not available in Adobe Express. And this allows me to work in line with the corporate identity. This is an important point. In Adobe Express, I can also design for others and block individual elements. So I could say you can change the title, but you cannot change the logo, or you cannot change or use particular colors, only the colors that I've specified. So these things are all possible in Adobe Express. And you can arrange it to avoid any mishaps. And it looks cool. If it's in keeping with the CI and then offers a host of elements, then you have many, many options. In summary, you could say that the people who use it are knowledge workers who know where's the target group, how do they speak, they know they can be fast, and they know that the outcome will look cool. And at the end, this is what we all want: relevant content. Relevant has to do with speed more than ever before today. While I prepared this presentation, I actually replaced features because new features arrived. And if I showed you obsolete features, it wouldn't have been so relevant for you, which was my aim. This is why I think that content and relevance really go hand in hand. If we can be punctual in the right place, and if the people can do it who really know the people they're reaching out to. I have a few stories, a few case studies from real life to show you that this is something that has not been used before. One prominent example is IBM. They use Adobe Express for Enterprise. This is an alternative for major companies, and they use Firefly-based, AI-based workflows in order to generate the content quickly and adapt the content. And the IBM consultants can then apply certain fonts, colors, and you can scan the QR code. But I also have an overall link at the end of my presentation. Then the San Jose State University has given its students and educators Adobe Express, and this already points to the direction we're taking. The teacher says it only takes 1 day to teach the students how to work with Adobe Express and produce videos, posters, or multimedia pages. So they generate more content that actually really appeals to people and are just not practical. I think we're in the education area, and where it is important to not only say what you want to say, but also get the message across in an exciting way. Let's change over to Canva. They have prominent customers such as FedEx. FedEx works with over 1,400 teams in 45 countries. And this is mainly knowledge workers. And I don't know how they measured it with this study. They obviously reduced their time by 77%. I don't know how they measured it. But this is quite a crazy number. If you say the checking of designs takes 3/4 of time less than before. Then Amnesty International Australia, this is an example for the NGO NPO area. Amnesty International has organized Canva for the Australian volunteers, and they can now generate content very quickly when they want to launch a campaign or inform people what they're currently doing. And again, the point is that they're relevant when they're fast enough. And at Amnesty International Australia, this has happened. The people work in Canva. They draw up banners directly in Canva, which is really fast and easy to do. So you don't have to recruit any professionals, because after all, this is relevant for the NGO field. Even more case studies can be found here for Canva and Adobe Express. Adobe Express is in the enterprise area, and there are more case studies for them, also for smaller users. But over time, We will also see smaller companies and publishing companies that will bandwagon, because I really think that at the end of the day, the point is to produce relevant content, and content is relevant when it is fast enough and actually designed by the right people. And you could summarize by saying we've got a matching tool. We have AI function that is easy to produce infographics or videos, and we have the right person. And if you actually provide the right person with this tool, then we have a matching marketing. Matching marketing is important because what fits is relevant. This is my thesis. I hope you enjoyed testing Canva and Adobe Express. If you have any case studies, please let me know how well it goes down. I see many individual persons working with Canva and Adobe Express, but I think we will see more of teams using this as a team process. And as the publishing industry, we should not miss out on this trend, because these tools are incredibly fast, they're incredibly easy to operate. And I think this is a job that we have ahead of us, because it's an exciting job, because these tools really have the potential of changing the world of publishing once more. Are there any questions? Yes? Yes, second please, the microphone. Thanks very much for the presentation to start with. Both tools say that you can also generate print documents, which could be sent to professional print shops. Have you acquired any experience with this? Have you heard about this? At Adobe Express, I have not tested it yet, I have to admit. Canva has a network of print shops, so directly in Canva you can order printed matters. I have a friend who's a tailor, self-employed, and she orders all of her flyers and her business cards. She designs them herself and orders it in Canva. It's white labeling. It's, of course, partner print shops. The quality is okay. It's definitely not as good as if you'd done it, but it's good enough, definitely. And I think this brings us back to the speed topic. In Canva, within 2 to 3 days, you can have your orders delivered. This is big. And in the print world, this is the speed we should achieve. In Adobe Express, I think it is exciting that most of the underlying engines for image processing or typography editing are more extensive, and they're based on the Photoshop InDesign engine. So you can see that Adobe is behind it, and this is why I'm optimistic that Adobe Express will become even better in future. We don't have a print-on-demand service there yet. I don't know whether they'll actually launch it. I don't know. Other questions? Okay, yes. Thank you. You said there's the branding functionality. Do you have a possibility of managing several brands in parallel as an agency, so that you can actually manage several brands? Yes, in both systems you have this feature. In Canva, it's called teams. You can be in several teams. So as an agency, you can work in 5 different teams and create templates for them. And in Brandscape, I think that there's I have not reached the end. Okay, I think there are no more questions.